A Tallahassee woman whose son died of a fentanyl overdose is now heading to prison for it. Cameron Evans was found guilty this month of aggravated manslaughter for the death of her 3-year-old son, Enrique Evans. The child, who lived with her ex-boyfriend, ingested a deadly amount of fentanyl that prosecutors say was readily accessible in that ex-boyfriend's home. Cameron Evans was sentenced to 19 years in prison today. The judge rejected her request for a lighter sentence and denied her claim that she was not equally responsible for what happened.
Evans' ex-boyfriend, Tony Balcom, also faces charges in the child's death. There was a hung jury in his trial earlier this month. He was slated to stand trial again Monday. That trial has now been delayed until April.